We had Tone Rock from Brooklyn. We got West Coast legend coming to the stage right now. So talk to me. You've seen him on the Players Club, The Wash. Don't be a menace to society while drinking juice in the hood. He's a writer, actor, comedian, legend in the game, y'all. Give it up for Mr. Alex Thomas.
Yes, sir. What up,
Yes,
sidekick?
sir. What's up, family? How you doing today?
I'm chilling, man. What you up to? I mean, I see you working, doing what you do.
Yo, I'm trying to, you had to do something around here to try to, pass this time go by. This is crazy as last year, you know what I mean?
Come
So,
on, man. I sell weed and pit bull puppies now. I'm doing it all. So anybody need a gray nose pit and an ounce of fire, I got you. I do it all.
You do it all, huh?
So what is this, man? Lonnie didn't even explain. All I know is she said DJ sidekick, and that's all I need to know. Cause
so this
like
is
brothers.
This is a
this
conversation
comedy?
between
Is this
it's
show?
it's a conversation between me and people that I worked with, respect. Comedy mixed with music, music with comedy, like how they go hand in hand with each other. So
Okay.
this conversation. I have questions for you. You answer.
Okay.
Let everybody know who this West Coast legend is in the game. You know what I mean?
Man, come on.
So let's go. Let's take it back. So you from LA, right? You
Born and raised.
What
South
city?
Central.
South Central.
Absolutely.
So I know being in the game for as long as I've been. It's only two people in LA that you have to like check in with. Like it's almost like gangs around here. You got to check in when you come to LA, and that's Alex Thomas and Chris Spencer. Like those two, you can't come to LA and not say something to say hi. Give them a pound of weed or something. They could work around here. So
What's so funny? What it is? You know what it is, sidekick? It's like, man, we were born and raised here, right? 95% of everybody around us, as far as like comics and actors and everything,
right.
they all came from somewhere else. They all came from all over this world to come to Hollywood to get famous. Our thing was, we're a few of the few that are actually from here and was able to be successful in it. You know what I mean? So I guess that's why I always tell people, man, I work in Hollywood, but I'm not Hollywood.
Right.
People would see me sidekick. You catch me at the Sloss and Swap meet. I might be in there buying some kicks and a t-shirt and a socks and some socks or something. And they'd be like, nigga, what you doing up in here? Nigga, you ain't got no security. I'm like, nigga, for what? I've been coming here since I was in sixth grade. Like, I see the same niggas. Like, it's Hollywood didn't change me. I'm that dude that I might at 10 o'clock in the morning, I may wake up and go play golf at my country club, Sherwood Country Club, with Will Smith and Wayne Gretzky. And like 3 hours later after golf, I might be hanging out with Snoop Dogg over in Inglewood somewhere. Then I might be at my cousin's house in Watts. Then I might go by a food truck in Inglewood or something. Like, I really utilize this city. Like, so many people come here and they own, it's kind of like they're given this manual that, it's all Hollywood. Like, man, LA is a beautiful city. I mean, it's good and bad everywhere you go, but I really honestly utilize my entire city.
That's dope. So, Alex, we're going to take it back to your first fame. I heard you was on Soul Train, man. I heard you started on Soul Train. Like another.
And more. That's where it all started, sidekick. I mean, you got to understand, bro. I was a hood celebrity. I was a local hood celebrity. Take 85 to 90. What?
Right.
Nigga, it didn't get any bigger than Soul Train. When you think about it, every star, from R&B to hip hop, whether you were the OJs, Run DMC, NWA, or LL Cool J, you had to go through Soul Train, right?
Right.
And me just being a regular LA dude that was just a straight dancer. I was just pop locking, break dancing. I was just a part of the culture before the real name of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, like going down the Soul Train line every week and the whole hood and everybody seeing you, it was like I was like a little junior star in the neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Put it this way, sidekick. When I started doing stand-up in 91, 92, people like LL Cool J, rest in peace Eazy-E, rest in peace Tupac, Dr. Dre, Run DMC, Hammer, Tony, all them dudes were like, hold up. The little dancing nigga's a comedian now?
They knew you for something totally different.
They knew me from just dancing and I was in everybody's videos. I was on the set of every rap video that was. I didn't have no clue that eventually I would be an actor, a stand-up comedian. I was just the dude that had everybody laughing just naturally. It was just me. And then look, the rest was history.
That's dope. So okay, speaking of that, when's the first like bug bit you? Like what was it? What comic? What did you hear? Like what cadence? What was it that made you go, you know what? Yeah, I want that. I want
Wait,
that.
say that question one more time.
What was the bug? Like what was it that made you want to go to comedy? Like what brought you to comedy? What was
What
it like,
brought me to comedy?
Yeah.
I'm trying. I mean, because I know, I'm not gonna be on here long, but I got a crazy story, man. Rosie Perez and I became
Really?
best friends on Soul Train. She was a
Wow.
star. I was just the little young dude that was one of the best dancers on the show. No name, no credit. I was just a grooving ass motherfucker, and she liked that. And I was kind of always giving her some of the new dances or something. She had, she was sexy with her shit, but my shit was just the newest dances. You know what I
Right.
mean? So long story short, when she left when she left Soul Train and did In Living Color, this brand new show came on and it was called In Living Color
Right.
with these chicks. They were called the Fly Girls.
Yeah.
I was like her little assistant. Her
Oh,
first, she had a couple other people that helped her out, but I was like the homie that was the assistant. Long story short, man, one day we're in the dance hall going over the routine with the Fly Girls, and Damon and Keenan Ivory Wayans walked in. Never met them. Of course, I knew exactly who they were. And they just saw everybody in the dance studio dying laughing. They walked in like, nigga, we came in to see what the new routine was. Why is everybody laughing? And then Rosie is like, oh my God, this is Alex Thomas. I know he's a dancer, but we always told him he should be a comedian. And I started saying a few other things. And Damon and Keenan were dying laughing. They were like, nigga, are you a dancer or are you a comedian? Like, so Damon asked me, he said, have you ever done stand-up comedy? And the first question I asked was like, nigga, do y'all get paid? Right? And I will never forget. This is a true story. He had on a brand new Jordans. He had a Jordan sweatsuit on, and he pulled out $30,000 cash out of one pocket, and then took out another 30,000, and he made it rain. He just threw it all up in the air, nigga, and it just all landed on me. He made it rain on a nigga before the word "make it rain." He was like, does that answer your question? Because remember, I asked him, do
Right.
comedians get paid? And he went like this, and nigga, the rest was history. They talked me into it, and I started doing comedy like a week and a half later.
Wow.
And
Okay, so
dancing was done.
dancing is over with. But pushing
Over.
96, hitting the stage
Huh?
at the Laugh Factory. I said pushing to 96, year 96, plumbing to the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
You in the game for what, about 4 or 5 years by now?
Yeah, something like that. I was early in the game, man.
Right. And
Wait,
then,
no.
no?
You jumped ahead. What am I talking about? You almost up here agreeing with you. No. It was 93.
93?
Yes, because I wrote on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from 93 to 97.
That's where I was going, yeah. So
I know that's where
93.
you're going.
So you at the Laugh Factory in line.
In that line, man, I was like all these other young comics trying to make it, but I'm from here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got a little job, but I had $11 in my pocket, caught the bus to the Laugh Factory. I sat in the 13-hour line. I tell people to this day, Sidekick, honestly, I mean, I don't know what happened during the pandemic,
Right.
but to this day, if you ever roll by the Laugh Factory on a Tuesday morning, you just happen to be up in Hollywood on a Tuesday morning at about 10 o'clock, you will see a line to this day, because that's
Really?
amateur night. That's open
Wow.
mic night. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. As long as I've been
If
working
you-
there. That's crazy.
Dude, every single Tuesday and every week you ever did chocolate Sundays. Huh? And how many years has that been?
15, 16 years.
Okay. From the day you got there to your last day, if you had went there on a Tuesday morning / afternoon, you would see a line out in front of the laughter. I'm surprised you never even knew that.
Wow. So
Yep.
you got on stage.
Those are the people that come from all over the world. And I was one of the 10 people that went up, and it was like my third time doing it. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I could continue doing this shit. Not getting paid, nobody in the room. You sign up and you're going up between, 7:30 and 8:30 before the real crowd gets there.
Right.
Sometimes there's 4 people, might be 10 at the most. Sometimes it's just one motherfucker in the room. But I actually went on last that night, and the regular crowd had started, kind of like the whole New Faces thing with Chocolate Sundays, right?
Right.
And man, Will Smith was sitting in the front row of the show, and I had a little killer little 3 minute set. I mean, that's all I had, nigga. They needed a 3 minute set. My set was about 2 minutes and 57 seconds, nigga. I almost had 3 minutes. And I got off stage and he was like, yo, man, you were funny as hell, man. My name is, I was like, nigga, I know exactly who you are. You Will Smith. He was like, yeah, well, I got this brand new TV show. I'm like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watch it every week. It had only been on 2 years at that time, right?
Right.
He goes, well, let me ask you a question, bro. He's like, do you write? I'm like, nigga, you got a pen? He's like, do you think you come down and help us with some funny stuff like what I saw on stage? I was like, hold on, let me check my schedule. Yes, nigga, I'm available. He's like, when do you think you could come down? I'm like, motherfucker, now? Can I get a ride with you? The rest was history, man. I was there the next day for 4 years, 80-something episodes of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We became great friends, and that was the turning point for my career, man. That kind of got me off to a jump start,
All right, so Alex, when did you fell in love with hip hop? What was the song? What was that movement that you was like, yeah, like that's us. That's
man.
what we.
You don't understand. I've been in love with hip hop since day one, man. I'm telling you right now, I can't even lie. When I first heard Rapper's Delight on the school bus, 5th grade, 1979, nigga, it was. I feel like in 1979 there was 3 songs that changed my life, nigga. It was Rick James, Super Freak. Okay. Rapper's Delight.
Right.
And nigga, Off the Wall. I mean, you know what I mean? It was
right.
It was, I mean, I know there was several other artists, but those 3 for this young up and coming young man, those were the 3 that is just that year so much because it was a transition for us. You got to think about it. I'm growing up on the West Coast. Right. So dudes my age will actually, because when you see, I don't know how deep and how much time we have, because I can really go deep on you, bro.
Go, Alex, do you? I want them to understand who you are. So go. What you talking about? Go for it.
Niggas my age that were from the East Coast, Rapper's Delight, 1979, that wasn't new to them.
Right.
It was new to the rest of the world.
Right.
Because when you look at some of the hip hop documentaries, cats that like, 50 and up right now, 40, let's say 45 and up, nigga, they'll tell you, hey, man, this shit started in the Bronx. Right. They remembered hip hop in the parks, and it went from borough to borough, from Brooklyn to Queens to, from Yonkers to Manhattan. It was a different thing, but to the world, to all of us, because you got to think about it. Growing up in LA, it was just funk and R&B.
True.
And then when Egyptian Lover came around, nigga, it was a new sound. Right. That dance music, that little window. But there was a young man that came up in that little window also, and his name is Dr. Dre.
Right.
And with the world-class wrecking crew. I mean, I could really give you the timeline of how the sound started. But you got to be real. I used to get in fights with niggas in LA because they hated that I loved East Coast hip hop so much.
Right.
But that's kind of like all we had at that time.
That's all you had. Right.
We hadn't developed our sound yet. Don't get me wrong. Ice-T was starting out. True. Rodney O and Joe Cooley. Toddy T. It was a sound, but it, you know what I mean? Nothing against them, because I don't want people to get this twisted. But they weren't Kool Moe Dee at that time. You know what I mean? They weren't. Right. They weren't UTFO. You get what I'm saying? Right. Those dudes that had a 10-year jump on this hip hop shit. You know what I'm saying? I respected what we were doing out here, but I fell in love with it by listening to the East Coast rap. You know what I mean? Then we found our sound, and it started to develop when the NWAs came around and it started getting, MCA.
Right.
It developed. But if you asked me the question, that was the beginning of it. And ever since then, I was just a lover of hip hop, man. I'm a hip hop beyond head, beyond fanatic. You could ask me any hip hop question, and I'll have something to say about it.
Great. Wait. So you head to stage. You about to do your thing. what songs get you hyped? Like, what do you play to get you in your zone?
Back in
Or
the
if
early
you do
'90s, or are you talking about now?
now, yeah, let's say now. What's your? Because I know you love I know you love music, so you fuck
Oh,
with
nigga,
everybody.
come
You
on,
fuck
man.
with everybody. Like, so
But I'm gonna
who's
tell you
your?
how. Let me tell you how much of a different wave I was on coming up. Going up in black comedy clubs in the early '90s, right?
Yeah,
You know a song that fucked people up, and I used to actually come up to it in the early '90s because there's that white boy side of me. So
right,
that's what a lot of people don't know. Even though I was born and raised in South Central LA,
right,
right? Half the family Crip, half the family Bloods. My parents bused me to an all-white private school, the middle, smack dab middle of Beverly Hills. That's why Will Smith and I had so much in common when I got to the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, because it's kind of like his life was kind of similar to my life, but he just grew up in Philly and I grew up in LA, right?
right,
So I
right.
went to a school called Berkeley Hall. All the superstars kids go there right now up in Mulholland. But I was the first nigga to go there in 1976. I was the
Wow.
inaugural Negro sidekick. Nigga, there should
You
be
was a
a
test dummy, huh?
goddamn, there should be a statue of me patting my afro out in front of that school right now, because I really was the first nigga. I'm not even lying to you, right?
Yo,
So I was exposed to white kids, even though I'm black. My dad was with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love music. I can't lie, man. I was the only dude in the hood with a skateboard.
right,
I was the only dude with a Def Leppard T-shirt. As much as I love the Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Marvin Gaye, and Shalimar,
right,
motherfucker, I like David Bowie.
right,
I,
right,
I I I can't help that. I like some of Elton John's music. You know,
right, right, right,
I can't lie. I knew who the Grateful Dead was. I knew who AC/DC was. I really knew it all, but I just gravitated more towards the brothers. But the white boy shit. So to say what I was gonna say,
yeah,
when Nirvana came out,
right.
Smells Like
Oh,
Teen Spirit.
yeah,
What? I would go up into the most ghetto comedy rooms from Detroit to South Central to Brooklyn to the Fifth Ward in Houston. I was entertainers. It'd be funny to see Willie D and like straight Houston drug dealers and shit. Niggas be like, oh, this shit is like, there was just that side of me. But
right,
remember
right.
that particular song, even niggas like that song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That
It
beat
was
was so
funky as
cold
hell.
blooded.
It was funky as hell when you let the guitars go. That bass line up there was genuine. It was some funky stuff.
And then I would cut the music and I get into my shit, but they be like, okay, where did that come from? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
man,
So,
I mean, just hip hop, man. Even during my Def Comedy Jam days, man, going up
right.
in New York,
Wait.
and I was that dude
Wait.
that could
Wait,
adapt.
Alex. I gotta let them know. This is probably the only comic who could say that you have touched pretty much every major, like Def Comedy Jam, Comedy
Comic
View,
View.
uh,
I
you
did
know,
Evening at the Improv, HBO. I mean, every comedy outlet there was over these last 30 years. Because I'm
you
celebrating this year 30 years.
30
Absolutely.
years in the game, y'all. Give it
I'm
up for that.
celebrating that this month.
Y'all gotta unmute and clap for that. 30 years of comedy. Like, I mean, and the game is a doggy dog game. So for you to
Brother.
still stay above the game, you're like you winning. You
Hey,
winning.
I've been saying something way before this, brother. Rest in peace. Young Nipsey Hussle, right?
Yeah,
Well, he said it's a marathon, it's not a race. I've been talking about that for years, man. And
it
I'm
sure
kind of
is.
like the epitome of that. And what I mean by that is to be able to say 30 years ago, this is what I was here to do, and never have to go back to another job, never have to have a regular job, see the entire globe, take care of my family, make money, and do what I love to do. That's called longevity. That's called a
Sure.
marathon. Sidekick, you know how many brothers I started out with
Right,
no longer nowhere to be found?
right,
Whether it was just didn't have nothing to say anymore, wasn't relevant. It could have been drugs, it could have been alcohol, it could have been, 10 baby mamas, it could have been jail, whatever it was, unfortunate circumstances, but they weren't able to stay in this business. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
I was one of those dudes that found a way. I was like, okay, if it's not stand up, then it's gonna be writing. If it's not writing, then I'm doing movies. If it's not movies, then it's TV. If I'm not doing TV, I'm doing animation. Now we got the internet. I was just that dude that was kind of able to adapt to everything and do it all.
Right.
A lot of these, I call them one trick pony comics. You know what I mean? it's unfortunate that that's all they do. And don't get me wrong. You gotta, it's a step beyond the stage sidekick. I'm the
Right,
epitome of
right.
that too. I
There you
never
go.
claimed to be the funniest dude on the planet, but people like me. And if they like you and you're likable,
Right.
you will work, you know,
And then you
and
know
and
what you're
and
doing.
work. Hey man, and that's kind of like what I say.
So speaking from that, going from behind the behind the screens, writing for the Fresh Prince, you jump in '96, going in front of the camera. It's a Jamie Foxx show, another
Exactly.
hit show.
Exactly.
Now you a character. Now you
Now I'm a character. Exactly. The
TV
writing
character.
started
So
out first.
yeah. So how did that transition going from back making it funny to now you in that you in that. So how did
It
that
was
go?
great, man. It was great because now I got to experience both sides.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And since I was already a writer with my stand up, it was kind of like a natural progression. And then being a comic, it's like you're always acting. And then, of course, my first big TV show, it helps when it's like a literally being on the set of the Jamie Foxx show was like being at a family reunion. It was like it
Yeah.
almost felt like I wasn't working. Just knowing Jamie over the years before I even got on the show, working with him, just comedy and from a Living Color, just all kind of stuff. And then down to Bentley Evans and you know what I mean? It was just
Right.
so, it almost felt like we weren't working. You know, people would always say to me, damn, were y'all even reading the script, nigga? Like, was
Y'all
it
did
just
like y'all was just
all
doing
freestyle? It came off like that because we have a bunch of comics. You know, we do have a lot of fun. There's a lot of takes, and we always feel like we can make the next take even funnier. So, but obviously there was some structure there.
right.
But again, I was just real fortunate, man, to learn from the greats. It's the same thing that, rest in peace. If Kobe was here, he would tell you, hey man, being around guys like Magic, being around guys like Jordan, being around like the greats before him, you kind of pick their brains, and those are the kind of people you want to be around because it steps your game up. So
Right.
for me, being around Will all the time, being around Martin, being around Jamie, being around Eddie Murphy, it keeps going on in so many different capacities. I didn't realize that was molding me as a young up and coming comic. You want to be around that energy.
Like energy
You
that
get what I'm
greatness.
saying?
Right. Right. Right.
So just being in their presence, whether it was on or off, whether it was the parties or hanging out or on sets, this and that, you're enthralled in it. This is what you do,
Right. I hear
So
you. And then now, going from the TV small screen and going to being having some hood classics under you, some hood classic movies
oh yeah.
like "Don't Be a Menace" in Society while drinking juice in the hood,
Players
Mr. L
Club, The
Dog.
Wash. I was in all the
Right.
nigga shit.
But wait, let's talk about that one because that one was that one right there. I
Don't Be
mean,
a Menace.
yeah, "Don't Be a Menace" was the
That was my
hood.
first movie.
Yeah, that's the hood. Like, I know
Yes.
when you see somebody, they be like,
Hey man, I
L
can't go
Dog.
no. Hey brother, put it this way. In the last 10 years, I probably did 20 prisons, performing at prisons all over the country.
Right.
Nigga, you would think I was Tom Cruise in prisons. When I tell you, there is not a Negro on the planet that is either shot, stabbed, killed somebody, sold some dope that don't know me, know my face, or know the projects that I've been. That's why people always up like, damn, man, these be great, man. You never had to have security. And I'm like, man, the hood loves me. Like,
Right.
niggas before they did their first drive, I've had niggas come up to me after shows before, hey, nigga, real talk. Hey, before my first drive-by, nigga, I was watching the Jamie Foxx show. Hey,
Right.
before I robbed my first nigga in 2000, nigga, I was watching the Players Club, nigga. Like they really have memories like that.
But that's what kept your 30 years going because you never left that hood. You never left that groundwork of who you
Yeah,
are.
man. No, trust me, it wasn't on purpose. It just kind of happened that way.
Then you moved into the Players Club, another hood classic. Like,
Yes, yes, that was what I
and
learned a
one of the
lot
great
about.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac. How was it?
Oh,
How was you, Bernie, and Jamie in the same? Like, I mean, come on.
man, that's
How
why
was
I
that?
actually got close with Bernie. Like when we were shooting Players Club, we played a lot of golf together. A lot of people didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I respected him. He respected me. He would, whenever I would come to Chicago, like he would, but whenever I would perform in Chicago as a young comic in the 90s, Bernie would tell me stories. I'm not going to mention names about black stars that
Mm-hmm.
have come to Chicago and bombed.
Wow.
And he was like, he asked me 3 times in one night, nigga, you ain't from the shop. You ain't from Chicago. You are not from the Chicago. I'm like, nigga, I'm not from Chicago. People would always think I was from those cities the way I killed in these cities. When I would go to Atlanta, nigga, you from the A? When I go to Detroit, is your daddy from the D? Nigga, hold up. So you are not from the Bay? I mean, like everywhere I would go, because I guess there was this mystique that dudes from other cities can't come into their town and make their people laugh.
Right.
So it was always huge for me as a comic. I almost looked at myself as a nigga that could speak different languages. You can't ever knock a nigga that can speak different languages. Am I right?
Right.
You can't be mad at that this nigga can go to Italy and speak Italian. I'm sorry.
Right.
You can't be mad at a nigga that can go to Hong Kong and speak Chinese.
That's true.
I mean, step your game up, right?
You in the wrong spot.
So, exactly. So that was my thing with comedy. My thing was I would always hear LA guys would go and bomb all these places unless you were a star. And I wasn't even close to being a star. I was just a nigga that my humor was universal. It was never local, you know, and nothing against local dudes because they just got to learn. You know what I mean? It's like some rappers, you and me may love them, right? But that nigga never sold an album east of the Mississippi. He was just a local dude. Some dudes never learn how to crack that code that they can make a hit song that the world likes.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was always my motivation. I always use a lot of hip hop analogies with my stand-up. Even when I would go overseas, you know what I mean? When I would be in the Middle East or I'd be in Europe and I'd be doing my comedy, people like, man, did they understand you over there? Like, what jokes did you tell in London, nigga? Like, how did your shit work in the North Pole? Like, hey, I used to be like, do they get Snoop Dogg? Do they get the Wu-Tang Clan? Do they understand Hammer? Them niggas that sell 30 and 25 million albums? They're gonna get me.
Right.
That was always my thing, man. I would always go, man, if they get those rap lyrics, they gotta get me. Cause I got a little bit better English than some of them niggas. You know?
Pronunciate that.
Why do I only hear one laugh? Or is there a nigga sitting next to you, sidekick? You can unmute niggas' mics. I want to hear the laugh.
I keep saying, let them go.
It sounds like there's a nigga sitting Indian style under your table right now. I hear one little midget giggle. Okay, now I see niggas' faces. What the fuck did we not have that the whole time? Don't you know as a comic? Okay, thank you. What the fuck? Hi, ladies. Thank you. Don't you know that's what we want to see as a comedian?
Yes. That's what they
I didn't know if you were in a closet and a little small midget is your housekeeper and he was just giggling under your table.
Right.
So Tom, Alex, I know that one of the big things about comedy is having your own special.
One other question. Are these the only people in the room? It's just 3 people?
No.
Oh, okay. I just see 3.
Yeah, you see 3.
Can I just see the nigga that's laughing under your table right now? I just hear
That's John Coon.
Wait a second. Have you guys been laughing this whole time?
Yeah, they just been on mute.
Trying not to be rude.
Okay, who the fuck told you that comedians want shit on? I want to hear every
God.
These niggas give me. See her in the braids? I know a little fart came out of her when she
just a little one.
That's right.
Why would you mute their mics, nigga?
Oh, they came from the other show, so they,
they stayed in. I
I
came in early.
Yeah.
And was there a comedy show going on earlier?
It's the first impressions. You know how we used to do at Chocolate Sunday.
Oh, so that's what that was when
That's what they was doing.
And you guys do it on Wednesdays?
Wednesdays 7 to 8. I'm on at 8. So
that fucked me up. One of the young comics came up to me. I'm not gonna say their name because I'm not trying to bust them out. But they were like, "Hey man, can you tell Lonnie or Sidekick or Pookie, man, I'm trying to get on AT nigga. I'm funny, man. You know, like a little young amateur, right?" He's like, okay, well, and I saw the guy once before. I was like, "You're a funny little dude, man. Can you let them know that?" I'm like, "Why? I mean, you're not gonna go on soon?" He's like, "Nigga, they booked me for March of 2023. I was like, "Nigga,
God damn.
It's a 10-year wait for you to do 3 minutes? God damn, the game has changed."
Yeah, Davey, man.
Damn.
Davey
Wow.
I did not know that. I mean, it's a different game from when I came up. These niggas waiting 10 years to do 3 minutes.
3 minutes. And and when you come, if you don't come with your A game, we be like, really? You had 10 years to
Yeah.
you had 10 years to go
Nigga, you had
give it
10
up for
years
the
to practice
ladies.
3 minutes, nigga.
You should
That
practice
is
3 minutes
hilarious.
all day, every day. It's crazy.
Wow.
So, like I said, most comics, the big thing for comics is have your own special, right?
Mm.
And you had, what was yours?
It's been a few,
And
man, over the years. My first one was Straight Clowning in
Straight Clowning.
2001.
That's the one that, yeah, that was
I actually broke a
the
lot of
classic,
records that year. I kind of took a page out of Master P's books at that time. That
right?
was 2001.
Right?
We had just got finished doing the Up and Smoke tour, biggest tour in hip hop history at that time.
Yes.
You know, me, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Eminem, Warren G, Eastsiders. We did 49 cities, sold out every single arena in America, 30,000 people every night. I thank Dr. Dre for that all the time because he personally called me and like, nigga, I want to do something that has never been done before. I want a comedian to host a rap tour. And that was huge for me, man. And
Yep.
thank you. When we finished that tour, 2 months later, what made me say all this?
Because you was talking about your straight clowning.
Straight Clowning. Okay, so about a month or two after the Up and Smoke tour is when I shot Straight Clowning. Long story short, if you didn't know the record, I was the first comedian to independently shoot his own comedy special and get picked up by a major network.
Oh,
Way before a bunch of these other names that you know right now. I'm not
Right.
going to mention their names.
Right.
This was in 2001. One of my professional athlete homeboys gave me a certain amount of money. And because he was like, dude, why do you not have your 1 hour special? You one of the funniest motherfuckers out. Why don't you have your special? And I was explaining to him the Hollywood process. He had no idea. And I was on HBO's waiting list in 2001. There's a few people ahead of me, like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Steve Harvey, Monique, a few people that were before me, DL Hughes, all the kings of comedy. And then there was me. And he's like, why the fuck, why'd you shoot that shit yourself? I was like, man, he's like, how much that shit cost? I gave him the number. We shot that bitch 2.5 weeks later. And the rest was history. And of course, the rest was history because Dr. Dre did my music.
Right.
He was in it with me. Will Smith did me that favor and was in it with me. Tyra Banks did that favor for me and she was in it with me. Shaquille O'Neal did that favor for me and he was in it with me. Jamie Foxx did me that favor and he was in it with me. So I wrote a funny ass sketch and they all got down with me and did my intro sketch. And it was huge, man. Dre's just, I always tell everybody, nigga, if Death Row had a comedy division, nigga, I would have been Tupac of comedy. Because Dre always looked out for me, man. Just being in the studio with him, coming up with a beat for my special and all that. And it was huge. And Showtime picked it up. So it ran on Showtime for like 2 or 3 years, but it hadn't been done at that time. At that time, the only comedy specials were HBO comedy specials.
Right.
Kings of Comedy hadn't come out yet. What else? Comic View had, Comic View.
Right.
Def Comedy Jam did Comedy Jam, Def Comedy Jam. But I was the first that just said, I'm gonna shoot this shit myself. And it get picked up. And at that time, it was a thing called the Platinum Comedy Series.
Right.
If you remember that, that was, the Kings of Comedy, Dave Chappelle, DL Hughley, all that. They put me in the Platinum Comedy Series, but I was the only one that independently shot mine. So I was doing it the rapper's way, like leaving the label out and making all the money. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was on some masterpiece shit in 2001. So yeah.
Done. So now, I know
that was called Straight Clowning.
Straight Clowning. I know you got a beautiful family now. With just 3 kids now.
Like 3, man.
3.
I got a 6-month-old son. I got a 3-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter.
How's that tradition from, you on stage and everybody know Alex Thomas and it's hey and the comics and everybody, the legendary, and then you come home and then your daddy. Like,
nigga,
you don't give a damn
daddy.
about that. Yeah.
I am just daddy. Let me tell you something, brother. So long story short, the question I get when I do a lot of these, they're like, so how did you stay busy during the pandemic? When I tell you, sidekick, and I guess I'm asking everybody watching right now. I wish we were in a crowd because I could ask you because I would really be able to hear your feedback. But is anybody, you were almost damn near more busy during the pandemic than you were when we weren't in the pandemic?
Yep.
Does anybody know? Like, wave your hands or say something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had
So
like
here's-
3 extra hustles.
Hey, man, come on. Like I said, I sell
You
pit
had to
bull
do it.
puppies, weed, and I'm a fighter pilot.
Wait.
So long story short, sidekick, I don't know if you know this, but my wife was 9 months pregnant in this pandemic. We literally had a pandemic baby. Like, my son was born on August 3rd, 2020. Like the nigga was born with a mask on. Like, that's all he knows is mask.
Right. That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So
He don't
we
know
were,
nothing else but mask.
come on, man. It was, and he's 7 months old now. So she was pregnant the whole pandemic, had the baby during the pandemic. When people are terrified just to go out, you remember those days of the pandemic,
Right.
when you didn't even want to go outside your house. We had to go into a hospital where, like, the floor above us is 2,000, corona patients. You know what I mean? So it was
Wow.
terrifying. At the end of the day, man, we're just so blessed and happy that we have a healthy little baby boy.
Great.
Yep. His name is COVID Alexander Thomas.
Uh,
I'm just bullshitting with y'all. His name is Corona. His name is Corona. But no.
Short 19.
His name is Trust. His name is Trust Alexander Thomas. My son's name, my 3-year-old son, his name is Legend, and my daughter's name is Halo. If anybody wants to, you go to my page at Funny Man
Halo
Alex
is a
Thomas.
is that why your name is Halo Thomas?
Yeah, no.
On No,
Does it say Halo on this?
It says Halo, dude.
Halo Thomas.
That is funny. My wife must have been on the computer. Or I could be using my daughter's
I
computer.
was
Shit, I
wondering,
don't
I'm
even
like,
know.
oh, he got a new name.
Nigga, that's funny. You thought my new name was Halo. That's
I
funny.
thought your name was Halo so
No,
time.
That's
Hey,
funny.
he done
is
blessed
a star.
himself with a
No,
Halo.
my daughter's name is Halo. She's 5. And
Star. Like,
Is that
man,
for her Zoom school?
that's
I
What'd you
see
say?
all of you on her. What was the question?
somebody just asked a question. What'd you say?
I said, is that for her Zoom school?
How did you know that? Is that a mother on here?
You know some others. The way she said
Essentially.
it.
Damn, you hit it on the nose, girl. She is the little Zoom queen. That's what's so crazy. And that's another thing. Just talking about busy.
Right.
Kindergarten, her first year of school just happens to be during the goddamn pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
I
so
have a
her
kindergartner.
first literal 6, 7, 8 months, this is her first or second week at school now. You know what I mean? She goes to a private school, so she's able to go to school finally. But yes, whoever said that, you hit it on the nose. She be on my computer on her little Zoom classes, but she has her iPad too. But she flips from back and forth. But yeah, man, this pandemic.
Oh, you talk about
I
a
can-
hustle.
What'd you say?
Talk about a hustle. You got a luggage collection. Tell them about that.
Oh
I've
my
been trying to
God!
get
How
from
did you know about that?
I've been trying to get a piece from you since
Oh.
like 2000. I'm like, and I've been sitting places and I only see like the ball players and everybody.
I've
hiding,
just
so-
always kept it low key, man, because I'm just
Right.
gonna be honest with you. I took a page out of the white boys' books. Like, so just for the people that know what he's talking about, I own black owned, 100% black owned, because I'm black from my head to my toes.
Hey.
It's
Okay.
called the Lewis Stewart Collection. We were one of the only high-end black accessory lines in the world right now. So if you go on your Instagrams, I see this young lady on her phone right now, Mr. Lewis Stewart, MrLouis Stewart, Mr. MrLouis Stewart, Stewart. And the name of the company is called the Lewis Stewart Collection. Yes, that's it. Mr. without the dot, just Mr. all one word, Mr. Lewis Stewart. So yeah, we've been in business now, Sidekick, 11 years.
Right.
And I just kept it low key, man, because I'm no different than a Jay-Z or a Diddy. What I mean, the world knew them from hip hop, right?
Right.
Then they ended up with these 2 multi-million-dollar clothing lines. One was called Sean John, and the other one was called Rockaware.
Rockaville.
And they just had to think outside the box. I've just been a dude that's always loved accessories and bags. And that was always a dream of mine. So we started it 11 years ago, man.
For you.
What'd you say?
Now you gotta meet yourself.
What did Tenagm? Oh, and she did it right. T-non-yay. I
Yes.
love that she did it phonetically.
I love this bag. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Buy it right now. Go to the website. It's the Lewis.
I got kids in private school. Buy that.
Yeah,
right
yes,
now.
exactly. But for everybody wondering right now, it's the Lewis Stewart Collection.com.
Oh, nice pieces.
In fact,
Nice.
I'm gonna put it in the. I click on this thing that says everyone, right?
Right.
Click everyone, and I'm gonna put the website in there. I'm still listening,
I
but
can
yeah,
get
you'll
that.
love it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, a lot of times, Black folks, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of talented Black folks out there that have done clothing lines over the years, but you really didn't see a lot of brothers do accessories, because accessories, we kind of looked at that as out of our reign. Like
Right.
we can
We
do
didn't do it.
t-shirts, we can do jeans, but we can never do bags. We can never do purses. We can never do,
Right.
wallets and stuff. Like, well, you know what? We did that. And if you go to the
And it's
website
dope.
and you look, you will see
Hey,
it's the real deal.
but the funny thing about it, I'd be like, Alex, I need to get a bag. Like, I want to get a bag. I wasn't trying to get no free bag, but I was like, I want to get a bag. He was so much like, niggas don't do this shit. He was like, all right, Kick, I'll talk to you later. No, seriously.
You know what happened? What happened, Sidekick, was when brothers, I purposely kept my name out of it for years.
Right.
Because first of all, I knew there was going to be a lot of haters, right?
Right.
And they're going to be like, what the hell would this comedian know about fashion and this and that? So I let the work speak for itself. The difference between me, Jay-Z, and Diddy was, if any of you remember when Rockaware was at its height, when Sean John was at its height, you would drive down the street, pull up to a red light, look up, and there's Diddy laying on his billboard saying,
Right.
hey, if you like that song, nigga, buy these jeans, right?
Right.
Jay-Z, man, if you love that last song, nigga, buy this shirt. That's because there are rappers that kind of worked in their world. If you bought my CD, go buy my jeans. Me as a comedian, people wouldn't have taken that serious. So I just purposely stayed out of it. When you guys go on the page at Mr. Lewis Stewart on Instagram, you can see all the stars and all the people. We've done everything from, we did President Obama's briefcase when he was in office. We've done bags for Oprah, Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Rick Ross, anybody you could think of. And it's not just celebrities, but when we first started out, they were the ones that embraced us. Why? Not to be mean and not to knock anybody, but as Black people, we kind of have three brands embedded into our brains since birth. And that's Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and another one, whether you want to say Prada, Chanel, whatever you want to say.
Right.
It's kind of like we feel like when we make money, that's who we're supposed to support. What they don't understand is those companies don't give a fuck about us.
Not one bit.
We help them make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they really don't care about us. You know what I mean? A good friend of mine that worked there for years, he was like, man, Louis Vuitton, if not one more Black person on the planet ever bought Louis Vuitton, they'd be okay without us.
Right.
A nigga will be broke, sleeping on his mama's couch, and have nowhere to live, but have a Louis Vuitton belt, wallet, and some goddamn shoes. That's how fucked up our realities are. Ain't that right, T. Nanye?
Right. Hey,
Nanye.
that's leather.
Wait, go back. Let me see.
This is so nice.
Leather.
Put
That
T.
bag.
Nanye back on.
Oh, put her back on.
Yes, so T. Nanye, just to answer some of your questions, a lot of our stuff we had to change over the years. It's faux. And you know what faux means? That's like faux fur,
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
not real. What happened was
Vegan.
right.
that particular purse, when we did that like 5 years ago, that purse would have cost $3,500, right? So we went down on prices because, we were having problems with PETA, and there's people out there, I can't believe you did a real gator purse. Like we're the first to ever do it. Come on now.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of our stuff now, we went down on the prices because we're not actually using actual snake skin, not using actual gator, but it's just as nice, just as beautiful. So the same
purse
way
is
y'all
dope.
run out to Michael Kors
Right.
and support them, a man that does not have the same skin color, come on over to motherfucking Lewis Stewart. Come on over to Death Row.
Oh, Death Row.
Again, it is www.thelouisstewartcollection.com.
Yo, thanks, Alex. Yo, this is one of the guys that I honestly say I look at, and outside of the game, I met him, and every time I meet him, he's class act. He's different from the rest of them that walk in there, and you just kind of know, like, hey, he
Can I ask you a
does-
question?
Go ahead.
And only because you brought it up.
Go ahead.
And I want you to be honest with me.
Go for it.
Okay. 15 years being the DJ at Chocolate Sunday.
Yeah.
And you've seen us all.
Seen y'all.
What do you mean by that? When you say different than some of these other dudes when they walk in to the comedy club? Because I'm going to start it off and then I want you to kind of end it.
Go for it.
You know what kills me, man?
Go ahead.
How you'll get a comic, again, no names,
Right.
that have 1,000 less credits than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And you will see these niggas cocky as fuck.
Exactly.
Because of their Instagram followings.
Right.
Because there's somebody on social media now. Sometimes I just want to go, nigga, I was famous way before motherfucking social media, nigga.
When it was hard to be famous. When it was hard to be
And I
famous.
at least go up to people, shake hands and say hello and how you doing? And like they don't do, you know what I mean? Like I see it and I'm just, wow, who raised these niggas?
When I say what I said, I like a comic who come in and they dress the part. They are who they say they are, they are. So when Alex come in, he never looks nothing but, Alex style. And I like a person who can stand out on their own. You don't hang in a bunch. When you come in there, you there to do business.
Those days are done. Those days are done.
You're there to do business. Like, I mean, even
Absolutely.
like there's times you walked in and Chris is there, Chris Rock, and Jamie in the back and everything. And you go say your highs and your laughs, but when you about to get on stage, you do you. And it's like,
exactly.
Yeah. So the fact of how you handle yourself going into the game, and like I said, I see them all.
Well, you got a bird's eye view. You're like on the roof of the right. Chocolate Sunday, looking down at everything. And
I'm seeing the background and the front ground, so I see the whole thing. Yeah. You always, like I said, kept it classy, kept it funky. It was never your material has always been fresh. Only you, and that's a big thing with me because
I appreciate that.
I come from the old school and lived into the new school. So like things like you don't steal jokes.
Absolutely not.
And
I'm a writer. I pride myself on my material and who I am and what I do. And people that know me, Sidekick, they'll be like, yo, the stage is just an extension of who I really am.
Right. And that's what it feel like. It feel like you and then again, like I said, your jokes are your jokes. Like you don't tell jokes that could kind of like, oh, that kind of sound like no. Alex jokes. If somebody did Alex jokes, you go, whoa.
Put it this way. Now you're gonna get some real inside shit. There's been times when I wrote a joke that I even felt like it was coming from somebody else's point of view, and I was like, can't do it. That sounds like something that dude would do. That sounds like something that dude would do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want that stigma. Like I talk about real shit or
that
shit
you go through.
That it's funny and observational to me. Like, for example, I'm about to tell you something that most niggas would ever never tell anybody. But how I've matured as a comic over the years, going into 30 years, all I could do is be honest. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Hey, nigga, it's me, right? So remember we talked about earlier about how busy I've been during the pandemic?
Right.
Oh, we had a baby. Nigga, I didn't even tell you we totally remodeled our house, like top to bottom and everything. But something I had been planning to do, I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this. You took this pandemic to do some shit that you had been meaning to do.
Right.
And now you had all the time in the world, so you just decided to do it.
Right.
So after Chadwick Boseman died, 43 years old, colon cancer, nigga, I ran to the booty doctor. Okay. Nigga, when I tell you, I got my prostate checked, I got a colonic, I got a colonoscopy, nigga, in that order.
Right.
Okay. There was more activity in my ass than a RuPaul picnic. There was more activity than a RuPaul picnic in my ass during this whole goddamn pandemic. I was not
a RuPaul picnic.
More activity than a RuPaul picnic, brother. When I tell you, when I tell you they was up in me, niggas was up in me during this pandemic. I got a wife, I got kids, man. I couldn't take that chance. There's so many young black men, they're so homophobic and they would never, nigga, ain't no. One of my homies, when I told him the story, he said, I just can't do it, AT. I just can't do it. I can't have a nigga up in me. I'm like, nigga, I don't want a nigga up in me either. Okay. But I want to
I want to
live.
die.
and
Exactly.
you know, to
Exactly.
get to your prostate, that the only way they can do it is they got to go up in you. You know, your prostate is in your asshole, nigga, right? You know that, right? I'm telling you right now, DJ Psychic, did you know that?
Yes, everybody did. There's no other way around it.
There's no way around it.
We would have found it by now if there was another way.
Sidekick, you got to bend over and they got to go up in you. Let me tell you, Sidekick, your prostate is about the size of an avocado seed. I don't know if you knew that or not, right?
No,
Did you know that?
No.
Look at that. You don't even know your own asshole. Let me explain it. Okay.
Explain it to me, Alex. Explain it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm cool with doing it because I want brothers to know, yo, this shit is not a joke. I'm joking, but I'm not joking.
I got you.
You understand what I'm saying, ladies? You understand what I'm saying, right? So it's about the size of an avocado seed. And it only takes 30 seconds, just so you know. You've never had anybody go up in you for this little 30 seconds, nigga. Smoke a blunt, do whatever you got to do. Like loosen your muscles, okay? Right? And he's checking to see if it's enlarged, okay? If it is enlarged, okay, if your prostate that's usually the size of an avocado is the size of a football, and the doctor could throw a spiral with your shit, nigga, you got about 6 months to live. So they gonna have to go up in you, right? My boy is like, nigga, I just can't do it, man. What if that nigga take advantage of me? I was like, look, bro, he's an asshole doctor. He sees 10,000 assholes a year. Okay, the last thing he's thinking about is your funky asshole. You're probably not even his type, bro. If you want to live, they gotta do it, Sidekick. They gotta do it, right? So that was only 30 seconds. Then I went and got the colonic. You ever got a colonic?
I had got that before.
Okay. Oh, that's good. I'm proud of you.
Yes.
I'm proud of you. So your asshole's squeaky clean right now.
It wasn't that I had. I had to. It wasn't like I was like, yo, I'm gonna go do this. It was, the doctor's like, this is gonna happen. So,
but you felt about 10 pounds lighter when you were finished. Yeah, and you lay there. For a lot of brothers don't know, you're laying there and there's this comfortable little pillow, and they're just putting hot water in your ass. They're just putting hot water, and when you can't take it, they push it, and you're literally seeing all of the bullshit. Literal bullshit coming out of you. I always try to, when I explain it to dudes, I'm like, are you in the cars? Are you in the cars, Sidekick?
Yes.
Would you go 10 years without changing your oil?
Hell no.
Would you go 15 years without getting a tune-up?
Hell no. There's no.
So why the fuck you go 25 years and not clean your asshole out? Right? So you're literally looking at all the bullshit. I'm looking at it, I'm like, nigga, what is that, black licorice? What are those oxtails? I haven't had oxtails since 87. Like, nigga, you're just seeing all the bullshit, but you know those are toxins and shit that shouldn't have been in you.
That shouldn't have been.
And you feel great afterwards, right?
True.
But the big dog Sidekick, the colonoscopy. That was an hour. They had to put me to sleep. I've never been, what's it called, sedated?
Right.
I've never been sedated. I've never been put under, but they got to put you under for an hour. And they had me on that propofol. Y'all know what propofol is?
Yeah,
that's the shit Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Mike died from, right?
Yeah. The beat it juice, not the Beetlejuice, the beat it juice.
Right.
You know. I was terrified. Put it this way. She is laughing her ass off. Damn, Amber. Let me finish telling you the story. Okay.
Eat it juice, nigga.
Tananye, let me finish telling you about how clean my asshole is. Listen. So look, they put me under the propofol. And obviously everybody knows that's what Michael Jackson died off of. And that's what he was on every single night to get sleep.
Right.
When I tell you that was the best sleep I have got in my entire life. Nigga, I was asleep for 1 hour. It felt like I slept for 23 days. Nigga, when I tell you, Sidekick, I woke up a new man. When I woke up, nigga, I was light-skinned, okay? I had hazel eyes. I had a new jawbone. Nigga, my credit was perfect. I was like, what the fuck? No wonder Michael Jackson was on this protocol
How
shit.
you know why?
I looked in the mirror like, nigga, I have hazel eyes. What the fuck? Nigga,
I'm
Siobhan
beautiful.
Moore ain't got shit on my beautiful ass. Now I know why Michael wanted that
Right,
shit
you
every
want that
night.
shit- right.
You know?
You let you sleep.
But long story short, man, when I was done, I got my results back, man, and they were like, your ass is cleaner than the Board of Health. I was so happy. They said they only found two things. They found a nickel and a piece of bubble gum that I swallowed. And I was like 11. But other than that, they said they can get that shit out.
Everybody, please clap it up. Make some noise for my man, Alex Thomas, y'all. Legendary. Legend in this game.
So that's what I mean when I say my jokes is me. And
It's
that shit
all
really
you.
happened.
Exactly.
Now, if there's another nigga that got his ass cleaned out, okay, we're gonna hear your story, but that's my motherfucking story. You
There
understand
you
me?
go. There you go. Thanks, Alex, man. Thank you for doing
Hey,
it.
I want everybody to know they can check out my podcast. It's
Tell 'em about
one
it.
of the top podcasts in the country right now. It's called The Funny Don't Stop Show. The Funny Don't Stop Show. Say it with me. The Funny Don't Stop Show. And that's the Instagram too, at The Funny Don't Stop Show. We're on every single Tuesday. We're on all platforms now. So we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on iHeartRadio. And if you've missed any of the past episodes, you can go to our YouTube page and watch us live every single week. The YouTube page is The Funny Don't Stop Show. Also, and of course, my Instagram's Funny Man Alex Thomas. And if there's anybody on here with kids, I hope if you got any kids between 1 and 10, if they're nieces, you got nephews, if you got grandkids, my animated series is #1 now on Netflix. It's called Motown Magic. I don't know if there's anybody on here.
Work.
Motown Magic.
Work. You hear that?
You don't stop.
You see, he said it don't stop. Work.
It don't stop. Smokey Robinson's the executive
On
producer.
Netflix?
On Netflix. If you go to Netflix right now, type in Motown Magic, you're gonna see a red convertible 1965 Cadillac, and
Ooh.
that is me.
Okay.
My character's name is Jimmy Mack. I'm in every episode, all 52 episodes. And like I said, Smokey Robinson's executive producer. A lot of people don't know this sidekick, but the two biggest question, what you say? Hi, Shantae. Somebody had a question?
No, I think she said she found it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so every single episode is around a different Motown song. So anybody that's on here that's 40 and older, you're gonna love it because you're gonna know every single song. But you got to think about it. My kids are 3 and 5, dude. They would have never in life known anything about Stevie Wonder and the Jackson 5 and Smokey Robinson and the Vandellas. They wouldn't have known any of that stuff. But now my kids know every single song. The animation is just crazy. So the parents would love it also. So check it out.
That shit was awesome. My nephew watches it.
Oh, thank you. Do they like it?
That's what you go to sleep to.
Oh,
yeah.
That is so cool. Yep, that's me, the red Cadillac, Jimmy Mack. I'm like the Uber. I'm like the Uber of the 70s in Detroit.
Yo, that's dope, Alex. Dope.
Thank you,
everybody.
man. I can't wait till we get back on. I can't wait till these clubs open back up, man, so we can do this shit live, bro.
There we go. Hey, we're looking at probably next month. We possibly.
I know the restaurants are opening up. I mean, put it this way, Chocolate Sunday is so amazing and the energy is so incredible. 50% will be great in there. But I can't wait till we're back to 100%. But yeah, man, shout out to Lonnie. Love you, Lonnie. And of course, my boy, Pookie and all the guys and everybody that work with you guys, man. That's dope. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, you one of the greats, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
All right,
I'm about to go change some diapers.